Welcome to the H5 Domino community. This is the channel for Domino fans to come together and talk about Dominoes and share our love for it and learn. And this is the impossible triangle that we have built. This is a project by Jack of All Spades 98, JTAR 42, and ND Domino back there. And they're gonna talk about how they created this, the thought process, and some of the challenges that they had while building the structure. So enjoy.
So the space behind me is a so-called infinity wall. So you can see that there are like no corners. It looks like the white is infinite, and which also really helps with the illusion because you don't see any corners.
Yeah, so the floor kind of just goes on forever, and we'll get a really nice professional like photo shoot background with it. So how did this project happen?
So originally the idea had just been written in the ideas document as optical illusion in Dominoes, and the first thing that I thought of was something called an impossible triangle or penrose triangle. You have basically what looks like a part that comes down and then across and then backwards, but then somehow connects back up to the point at the top again. So it looks like a structure that really couldn't exist in real life, but the way that it is actually put together is with a shape that looks like this. If you put the camera at a very specific angle, this part at the top lines up with the part here at the bottom, and they kind of fit together, not in real life, but through camera trickery. And I thought that it would be really cool if we could simulate that same effect with a domino structure and make a shape very similar to this. I guess it was exactly as hard as I expected because we had to figure out how to compensate for perspective issues, because obviously based on where the camera is, this side is a lot closer to the camera than the far back corner. So even though it may look like each of the sides of the triangle are equal, in reality this height is far, far shorter than the width at the very back because that part is so much further away from the camera. This is 5 layers deep. So this whole black border, what looks like the edge of the structure, is 5 layers, whereas here
it's only one.
Or I guess 2 if you count it by domino. When you look at the actual photo of our structure, that difference really goes away. So this 5 difference lines perfectly up with the 2 dominoes, and it looks like the same thickness. And we had a lot of issues like that where we had to compensate for perspective. It turned out as good as I could have hoped for, which I didn't expect to happen. So I'm extremely happy that my idea worked out, just especially because I really had a lot of high hopes and it lived up to my expectations.
And I see here we had to make a weird angle with the cube technique.
Yes, right. So we broke the pattern a significant amount. What happens is when you make a diagonal slope in the cube technique, it's at a more 45-degree angle. Since it's a triangle, 3 points of a circle, those are at 30-degree angles or 60-degree angles. This angle here has to be closer to 30 and not 45.
I see.
It means that this has to be a lot steeper, and there really isn't a good way to make a 30-degree angle remaining in the normal cube pattern. Plus, these black dominoes over here are also supposed to line up with the back edge, so we added those on just to kind of fine-tune the point. We kind of adjusted the differences here, changed some things here, took stuff away, kept adjusting where the camera had to be, lowering it, moving it to the right, then turning down the color so that it'll blend better. All sorts of very minor adjustments to get the illusion to work perfectly. And only for one very specific camera angle will it actually work. But it's totally worth it because it creates one of the most peculiar pictures that you can imagine.
All right, Jonathan, what are you doing over here?
I'm cutting the string for connecting the hooks. Basically, they're just bent paper clips and we're hooking them over a domino and then pulling that domino with a string from the small to large.
Which one are we gonna pull out? Where's that gonna go?
Probably this one or this one. So about 3 to 5 layers from the top. So the string is connected to the hook like this. When we pull the string, the domino comes off.
And that's how we knock down the structure. Instead of taking out dominoes to tape a string in domino, we just put it on top.
Yeah, exactly. So this is how the structure looks like from camera's perspective. So we are toppling it from here and here. So here we'll use small to large dominoes, and over here we'll connect those hooks, which will be invisible to the main camera since it's on that side. And those two will fall at the same time, almost at the same time. So this will be set up slightly later than this one. So even in the fall down, it looks kind of connected since they fall down at the same time.
It's so confusing because it looks like these are part of that
Yeah.
same wall. Now, where does that go in comparison to the actual structure? Where are those points?
This back point here is that one, and this point here, so the big domino on top there,
Yep.
is this one.
Is this one?
Yeah, this one.
Wow. Look at that difference. One over here, one over here, but it looks right on top of each other. We have a jib right here. It's getting the exact angle, and then we're gonna get a shot where the exact angle is in the frame, and then we move the camera over here so we see that it's actually just a long structure. And then we'll play that in reverse to make it seem like it's coming into the form and then coming out of the form of the triangle.
The crane has to be on this side, actually. This side of the pillar.
This side. Okay.
So camera will be
Approximately
right
where
above
it is
Eva's
now.
head. And then we just pan or maybe even roll a little bit in this direction to break the illusion, and we will reverse that in a final video. About the lighting, we had multiple lighting issues. First one, from this camera angle we directly look on top of those dominoes, which reflect the backlight, which breaks the illusion since the light doesn't reflect off the blue dominoes on the back edge. So this light is turned down a little bit, and the two in the corners are turned up fully. Then we had the issue with an additional shadow right in the edge, this side. This is where this light comes into play, so I just switch it off and then you see the shadow, which breaks the illusion because this part is supposed to be floating.
Yeah,
There's
looks
still
much
a
better.
small shadow in between, which doesn't disturb anything since there's a white triangle anyway. For filming, we are focusing exactly on this spot, so basically this edge, which makes the front part and the back part both slightly out of focus, which makes them connect even more.
3, 2, 1, go.
How did it look from up there?
I think it looked fantastic. The timing was basically perfect.
Yep.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Yes, I want to see it.
Allow my heart rate to settle down before I start descending a ladder, please.